Hi, everyone. All around the world, we are currently, or hopefully soon, coming out of some level of lockdown or restrictions thanks to COVID-19 pandemic. As we get up again and get into sport and community exercise, we all face mental, physical, and logistical challenges. One man I know who has faced and overcome more than his fair share of challenges is Commonwealth Games gold medalist Damien Schumann. Damien is an Australian professional beach volleyball player. He's a Melburnian at heart, currently located with the national program in Adelaide, and I'm very proud to say he's also a stay-tuned athlete. As part of Elastoplast's national community sport campaign, Together We Get Up Again, Damien has very kindly offered some of his time to share his wisdom and experience and his advice on how we can overcome some of these challenges to get ourselves back up again. So first off, thanks, Damo. Thanks for joining us today. I know your time is very precious. The first question for you is, what are you preparing for right now? What are you getting ready for?
Yeah, thanks for having me, first of all. But so right now we're getting ready for basically the 2021 Olympics. So for us, for Australia, there's we have to play through the Asian zone in the Continental Cup. And so that the Asian zone finals were meant to be on June the 21st, and now they're going to be on June the 21st, 2021. So that's what we're preparing for. So it's a bit of a longer run up than expected to the Olympics.
It's all systems go currently in Adelaide?
Yeah, so we're pretty lucky here in Adelaide. It's pretty much all back to normal now. So yeah, all systems go. So I'm currently at SASI, where the Australian beach volleyball program is located, and we just had a morning session and just crushing some food as I was talking to you before, and then we'll get back into the second session in a couple of hours.
Okay. And coming out of, lockdown, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced individually?
Well, it was interesting. So during lockdown, first of all, we were really lucky. We basically got to raid the SASI gym here. So I had all the gym equipment at home. We had like a squat rack, made some squat racks out of ladders and stuff, and had like a decent amount of weight, like over 120 kilos to play with, some free weights. We had like a bench and made it home. So gym wise, I was really lucky to have a really full on setup, and we were still allowed to go out for exercise. So I'd go down to the beach and run around and, keep my sand fitness up. And the reason I'm telling you that is because when I did get back into training after a couple of months of literally not doing game-like sort of scenarios and training at that intensity, even though what I was doing was intense and I was doing HIIT workouts and strength workouts and running around on the sand and stuff, I within the first sort of 3 weeks coming back, I had a grade 0, but I had a little tear in my quad and a little tear in my hamstring. They just came up on ultrasound. Both of those are really, really minor. They only put me out for a week and a half each. But so just even though I was keeping up my fitness, so it's not like I had a big break. I had a little break, but not a huge, like 2 months of sitting on the couch. I was actually still doing stuff. And even me, who, I was still being able to see physios and stuff like that, even after that, I still got injured when I got back into my sport. So that's, I thought I'd be right. Like, I'm a full-time professional athlete, but, so yeah, a bit of a warning there, I suppose, for everybody who's starting to slowly get out of, quarantine and lockdown and stuff like that, that even, people like us who are used to training full-time and pretty hardcore, and even though I maintained my fitness, I still copped a couple of like significant injuries for me, because I don't get injured that much.
Yeah. Look, and so you're saying like there was a difference between, I guess, general training and that specificity to the level of gameplay and match type training that you would have. Is there any ideas that you would, going back, looking at that, ideas you would have around bridging that gap between the, the running and the HIIT training and strength training you were doing, which were clearly intense, but not necessarily that exact flow onto match style training?
Yeah, exactly what you said. So I thought I'd be right, because I was making sure I was doing lots of HIIT workouts and high intensity stuff and going down to the beach and just flogging myself and staying strong in my little home gym. So I thought I'd be right to transfer over within sort of, a few days, a week maybe. But it still took me, well, my body didn't handle it. My body didn't handle the training load of doing what I was doing, plus the getting back onto the sand and putting it all together. So yeah, I wish I took a little bit longer. I would have avoided a couple of niggles. And look, it's not in the greater scheme of our Olympic campaign and stuff like that. It's not that bad with the timing, but just for everyday life, it's never good to have injuries, because it just puts you back. And just puts you whatever your fitness goals are, whatever they may be for everyone. We've all got different fitness goals, and you feel pretty bad when you're injured and you're sitting on the couch and you can't do it. So I mean, it should be such a happy time to come out of lockdown and come out of quarantine. So you don't want to wreck that by having to spend another week in quarantine injured on the couch. So I mean, it's take your time,
And do you find that mindset was the key, was, really pacing yourself? And was it hard to maintain motivation during that?
When I was injured?
Yeah, to get back up and to sort of have that motivation to go straight back into it?
It was super frustrating because, you'd had so long off, and then to get and again, it was only I literally was out for about 10 days, and then within a few days of training, I'd done my hamstring, same sort of thing, just a grade 0 sort of thing, but again, out for another 7 days or so. So it was super frustrating. It was more frustrating than anything, but then it was actually, I mean, how you mentally handle injuries is pretty important when you're playing sport or anybody. But it was just all right, do everything I need to do everything really properly now and not try and rush it when I come back or anything like that. And then I've been fine ever since, and the training's really stepped up and stuff, and we're in a big sort of trial block at the moment. So it's all good.
So the body, I guess, gave you a little lesson on adaptation, or slowly adapting over a little bit longer than you would have ideally hoped.
Yeah, the body's funny, isn't it? It's I mean, look, if you're getting injured, that means something's wrong, something's tight, something's weak, something's not performing the way it should. So yeah, I mean, it's injury. I mean, obviously there's unlucky injuries, like you step on a rock, or someone runs into the side of your knee, or you fall down some stairs or something. Those injuries are unlucky. But if they're just sort of those injuries that, you've pulled a hammy, or you've torn a muscle, or your knee's getting a bit angry, or your back's really just literally, and I'm sure, not that I can start talking about it with the same sort of knowledge that you can, but for me, injuries like that are your body's way of telling you something's wrong, something's weak, something's tight, something's weak. Go and activate it, go and get stronger, and you'll be right.
Yeah, and look, we find this exactly what you've been saying. We've been finding this in the clinic as people get back into sport, is we might feel like we're prepared for what we were doing, and even though we might be running, we're only running in a straight line direction, but our sport requires us to a lot of change of direction, so we're not quite prepared for that. Or we might be running at a 6-minute kilometre pace, but our sport requires us to really hit some hard sprints, and we're not quite prepared for that. Some of the messages we give to our patients is, think about the sport, break it down, and try and do a little bit of each component. Are there any key, I guess, messages or advice you could give to anybody in the community getting back into organised sport or getting back into community exercise in terms of preparing themselves, whether it be physically or mentally?
Well, I think again, you hit the nail on the head there. It was basically you can do everything. I mean, you can do high HIIT workouts, and probably, to be honest, a lot of people are probably doing more intense and are better at those HIIT workouts than they've ever been before in their entire lives, which is fantastic. But when you get back into sport, even though you're feeling like you're king of the world because you're crushing these home workouts and the HIIT stuff and all the rest of it, it's just remember you're actually at your baby steps of having to run in a straight line, take a side step, kick a goal, or literally jump backwards and shoot and land on concrete court or land on hardwood floor. You might not have jumped and landed on a hardwood floor, or been pushed, or had to change direction quickly. Exactly what you said. You actually haven't done that for potentially 6 months. Whereas you might be feeling all activated and all the rest of it, but the different forces and the different shocks going through your body are different. Just the same as the first time you did a HIIT workout, it probably wasn't as good as you have to ease into it. Everyone knows you have to ease into HIIT workouts. You're not going to not have squat in the gym, for 6 months and then go in and try and squat 180 kilos. And that's obvious. It's an obvious example, and it doesn't feel like that. But because you won't even be concentrating on it, running full pelt, and if you're a netballer, you have to stop, or whatever it is, you're running full pelt, and you have to take a quick sidestep. You wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have done that for months and months. And your body, your knees, your back, whatever it might be, whatever example you want to chuck in there that you might be doing to get active again. Yeah, you got to watch out for it and give it the respect it's due. And you probably only have to ease into it for like a week or so, and like before you get back into like a full match, or if organized sport probably hasn't started yet, so it's more probably about getting out with your mates and doing it again. Just take the first couple of goes real easy, or even go down and do it yourself. Even go down by yourself and just get just go shoot some hoops or start running and doing some side steps. Now once the lockdown cage has been unlocked, wherever you might be.
Wherever we are and whatever restrictions we're in, we'll certainly be all looking forward to getting back into sport and exercise coming forward. So key messages, I guess, from what I've taken from what you've said is be specific, give yourself some extra time than you would think, and take some smaller steps rather than trying to go bull at a gate to 100%. Massive thanks to you, mate. I'm sure we'll see you on TV, and I'm sure we'll all be behind you getting ready for the Olympics and getting ready for those preparation matches. So thanks again for your time today, and all the best for the preparation.
No worries at all. Thanks heaps, guys.